You already know what the fuck it is. Asharenu. We back in this bitch. What's good? What's good? What's good? Hopefully everybody is getting through this dark year. 2018. We know it's an emphasis on that eight. It's an emphasis on that Saturn energy. So I know a lot of us are really going through it, including myself. With just family situations, just madness. That's why it's called December Madness. So let me put y'all up on game, all right? When it comes to the winter solstice, for those who may not be familiar, the winter solstice is pretty much between like December 21st and 21st, or 21st and 24th. About those 3 days, a couple days before Christmas, when the sun stands still in the sky. So the days are no longer shorter or longer, it's just stagnant energy. So the reason why you will perform a winter solstice, by this time you should have been, you should have been using the whole year to perfect your ritual workings. So by the time you get to the winter solstice, this is when you bring out the big guns. This is when you really go out of your way to make this shit happen, because the energy is just that potent. So most of the time, let's just say you do a ritual for the winter solstice. If you put your true will into it, it will manifest. And I'll leave it straight at that. If you put your true will into your ritual, especially the winter solstice, it will manifest. And the only thing that will prevent it from happening is if you don't know what your true will is. So let me go in a bit of detail to clarify what I mean by the true will. The true will is what animates the soul force. In other words, we know that we have a spirit, we know that we have a soul. The soul, the purest aspect of yourself, resonates with your true will. So soul work equals true will, if we want to break it down to a mathematical equation. So this is the time. It's cold outside, everybody's cold. It's not really too much going out. It's not too much going on outside, because people are inside because it's getting pretty cold, especially if you're in the eastern or the northern parts of the U.S. Now, of course, if you're somewhere in fucking Canada, it's probably even colder, But what we getting at here, and again, you already know I'm doing the breathing. Don't lose your mind over nonsense, right? Let us continue. So hopefully everybody has been perfecting their witchcraft, their magic, their science throughout the year. Especially if you've been watching my videos, I done gave y'all so much tools to use. Hopefully they have been utilized. Because now is when you bring everything together. When you bring it all together, this is why it should work, because you have had the whole year to practice. So if you kind of been, doing experimentations, kind of seeing what's over here, kind of seeing what's over there, you had the whole year to really get things in order so that when it's time to really put in that serious work, you're already ready to go. But the reason why I want to do this video a little bit early, because the winter solstice, we got a couple weeks to go. This is just in case those who view the videos, you may not be ready. Let's just say you may not be ready. Let's just say you may not even know the purpose of the winter solstice. So this should give you enough time to properly prepare if you have not already prepared. Because if you have already prepared, then you already know what to do. But if you haven't prepared, let's just go into the science of December. We know that December is the 12th month. December is the 12th month. We know that you got the 1, you got the 2, you got the knowledge, you got the wisdom, right? What happens when you bring that knowledge and that wisdom together? You gain an understanding. Another way to put that is, once you have collected all the necessary resources, all the necessary information, and you have went out and did your experiments. Now you should be at a point of reflection. You should be at a point where you can now reflect and sit back and contemplate, okay, I know what I've been doing this entire year or this entire month, this, the last 6 months, whatever you've been doing. Now it's time to find ways to piece it all together. So in other words, that's why I'm not really focused on a particular deity for this month. It's not about a particular deity. It's not about a particular energy. It's about how you choose to put all these things together. The things that you know work because you have been testing it out. So all of the things that have been successful for you for this entire year, you now put all this together. Find the common thread or the common link between all the things that have made you successful and all of the things you chose to be successful in. Or let's just say you just want to make an intention to find your true will if you don't know what the true will is. So if you don't know what your true will is, you will make the intention to discover your true will by interacting with, you may interact with your ancestors. You may interact with a past version of yourself. You may interact with a future version of yourself. So on and so forth. This is the time for all my people who was into aliens, you into astrology, you went to constellations and all these things. This is the time to make it happen. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about, a practical example. December is normally the month that I choose to fast. I choose to fast in the month of December. It's, for whatever reason, this is just a time to detox. This is a time to get it in. You can say this is the darkest point of the year because we know just because January 1st is technically the new year, it's still in dead winter. So this is actually like the darkest part of the year that we call the new year. It's really the darkest part of the year, right? So this is a time when the energy is most stagnant, where you can just go outside and you're cleansed. You can just go outside and that cold air is hitting you, detoxing you. It's like it's hard to be sick. It's hard to be sick when you're constantly outside all the time, right? So if you didn't do it in the summer, now's the time to do it. If you didn't go out in nature and, do your 24 hours and just connect with the spirit of your city, which I've been talking about for who knows how long. But this is why I continue to repeat myself, because I'm not going to tell you anything that doesn't work. But let me give you an example. A couple years ago, maybe December of 2014. December of 2014. Let's take it back about 4 years. We're not going to make this long, of course. Just let you know. Some of y'all was around, me wasn't, because I was doing videos at this time. But I wasn't doing videos consistently, like every day, every week. It wasn't nothing like that. I would be taking months off sometimes, because shit was just that real at that particular time. However, I decided to fast at that time. And what I accomplished in a 2-week period, I was able to upload maybe about 50 fucking videos on YouTube. And that's really when my channel started to take off. Because before then, I probably only had 100 subscribers, a couple hundred if that. When I put out those 50 videos in a 2-week period, then that's when the numbers started to roll in. Like I started getting my first YouTube checks and all that. But prior to that, it was just not really going, But when I did those 50 videos, and you can go back and check my channel and verify this. Go back to 2014 and you see 50 videos were uploaded in the month of December, if you want the clarification. Nonetheless, I say this to say that when you direct your true will, when you direct it, You combine that with your fasting. You combine that with your detox. You combine that with your yoga. You combine that with your numerology. You combine that with your astrology. You combine that with your alchemy, so on and so forth. You make a bunch of different sciences one whole science. You study things separately so that you can put them together when it's all said and done. This is why you study science separately and you study magic separately. Only through studying them separately do you know how they work together. Because if you're just studying it all at once, you may miss a couple things, a couple practical things with science, a couple magical things with magic. So you study these things separate, then find the common thread. And that's with anything. Why? Because everything is one science. You can say you got, biology, you got chemistry, you got different branches of science, you got different branches of law, you got different branches of everything. But this is just society separating things because this is how the logical mind works. The logical mind needs to break things down into simpler terms. The creative mind just sees everything as one thing. Because the creative mind sees everything as one thing, this is where we strive to advance to. So we start off learning this, learning that, learning this, metaphysics, quantum physics, science, the science of water, the science of air, the periodic table, all the stuff that we didn't give a fuck about in school. Maybe you did. Maybe you was a kid who seen the uses of these things in real life, young. But most people don't. Most people don't connect what they read in the books to the life that they lead. And where is the correlation? Because you need to study these things separately to know how they work together. And this is the time, once again, when you put that science and you put that magic all together, like creating an energy grid. For those who are familiar with the energy grids, it's like pretty much building a pyramid. But instead, you are constructing a ritual that connects the common threads. For example, there were temples that were built that when a full moon was in the sky, you would actually see the light from the moon going through the temple, and it would hit certain deities and certain gods, right? It would hit certain artifacts to tell a certain story. Then when the sun was at a certain position in the sky, the sunlight would hit a certain deity to reflect a certain ideology. So astrology and divination or earth magic have always been used simultaneously, even though in today's times everything tends to be all over the place, which is why we have so much confusion, because everybody like, I'm over here, they're over there, they're over there, they're over there. Just one science, one magic, one energy. Once we get that down packed, separate sciences, but it's all pieces to the same puzzle. And when you put the puzzle together as one whole thing, science, magic, not just science, not just magic, you piece them all together. And what do you get as a result? A complete metamorphosis of your consciousness. Because you start to learn how your mind works from a personal standpoint. Like, for example, we all may be familiar with the law of attraction and things of this nature. But when you know how your mind works based on your natal chart, based on your astrology chart, based on your solar return, which is basically your birthday every year, when you understand how you work, because you have studied your natal chart, you have studied your solar return, and you are becoming more and more conscious of your true will, that's what changes the game. So what do I mean? If you are not aware of your true will, once again, then things are going to flow like this. You're going to be over here trying to get over here. People who feel like they're stuck in certain situations, they're looking for the come up once again. Anything you feel stagnated in, this is the time to get things moving. Because again, we are approaching the energy of death. Because the winter solstice marks the energy of death. I believe the winter solstice is when the winter is official. So about December 22nd, right? The winter is official. So the winter, okay, let me make the distinction between the fall and the winter. The fall, which are the current season we are in, is the coming of death. When things start to die and things start to hibernate, people start to be in their homes a lot more. You know, the days become shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. So again, people spend more time inside. You're not really seeing too much animals. Animals are hibernating, doing what they do, going through their cycles. So when we get to winter, right? When we get to the winter, now that the death has approached, now the death is right on your ass. The energy of death is right on your ass when you get to the winter. But sometimes, because you can say that is the most powerful energy that you can work with. Because again, this energy can completely transform your consciousness. Things that didn't make sense to you, now all of a sudden it starts to make sense. Places that you were not going or maybe could not go, now all of a sudden the crossroads have opened up for you. And I will be doing a video on issue on the private website. I'll be doing that right after this video. I may have to charge the phone up a little bit, but nonetheless, the members will be getting that video today. So, to sum it all up, this is a time to work your alchemy, to put together the pieces of the puzzle that you have been gathering throughout the course of the year, throughout the course of your spiritual journey. Now it's time to bring out the big guns. Now it's time to work your mathematics and combine it with your magical ability, your magical essence, your soul force. Combine your soul force en route to your true will. Because when you know what your true will is and live in accordance to that true will, I'm not going to say that everything falls in place, but you will learn the necessary lessons for you to learn in order for you to go to the next level for you. Because the next level for me may not be the next level for the next person. We all have our own degrees. So we must exercise our degrees. Like everybody has an age, right? Those are numbers. Let's just say, for example, you may be 35. That 3 is an intelligence. That 5 is an intelligence. So your lesson for that entire year is a lesson of the 35. You add the 3 and the 5, what do you get? 8. So you got 3, you got 5, you got 8. And those are the principles that you focus on when you are 35. Let's go a little deeper. We know that the number 3 is the planet of Jupiter, the number 5 is the planet of Mercury, the number 8 is the planet of Saturn. So you got Jupiter, Mercury, and Saturn corresponding with each other. Now, there's many different layers to that. So as you go through that year, you will be discovering more and more secrets of what those numbers mean as you walk with these numbers. So nonetheless, once you know what your degrees are, this is why I always emphasize, when you know this by heart, you can activate it instantly, where you don't have to always be referring to your notes because you have taken the time to learn it by heart. You put it here. When you put it here, it becomes real. It don't become real as a bunch of notes in a notebook. That's where it starts. But it ends here when you can push it out through your soul force. Right? Although I'm getting all type of notifications. Nonetheless, metamorphosis of consciousness, a transformation of consciousness towards what? Towards your true will. We all know what our true wills are in our hearts, but you have to connect with the heart chakra in order for that secret to be revealed to you. because it is a secret. Because, let me emphasize what I'm speaking about. I'm not speaking about saving the world. Your true will, pretty much, okay, I'm supposed to be somebody who helps people do things. We're not talking about that. We're talking about what you need to do for yourself for you to advance. You may need to do something for yourself that the public will never know about in order for you to advance personally. This is what I mean by the true will. The true will has nothing to do with anybody else. Although other people may benefit by you walking the spiritual journey, other people may benefit. But ultimately, you do it for you, and we know this, right? At least if we're not egotistical. See, the ego goes both ways. See, people tend to say you're egotistical when you're selfish. But you can also be egotistical thinking that you can save the world as well. That's an egotistical thought. It may be noble, it may be so-called righteous, but it still deals with the ego. When you feel as if it's more important to save other people, or it's more important to, let's just say, be a healer or be a teacher or whatever it may be. Like it's more important than this, but it's not. I'm letting you know right now, coming from somebody who teaches, somebody who does this for a living. So this is coming from me. Even though I teach, this is not the most important thing for me. My most important thing is for me to be in alignment with my true will, which may or may not include teaching, which may or may not include anything I'm doing right now, because it constantly evolves as you evolve. Like, you don't think the same at 25 when you're 35. What has happened? Are you the same person at the core? Absolutely. But you have a completely different body. I believe the body renews itself every 7 years. So by that time, you have a completely new body, a completely new consciousness, and a completely new spirit. Even the spirit renews itself. Remember, it's a difference between the spirit and the soul. Even the spirit is renewing itself. The spirit more so has something to do with the constellations. But your soul, that internal part of you, is where your essence is. And we know that our essence goes beyond the physical plane, the mental plane, and the astral plane. Remember, even the astral plane is a part of the illusion, so we don't get caught up in that either. We utilize these things as tools, but we know even that is still a stepping stone to something greater. So we're talking about going beyond the astrals, going beyond the unknown, going into something that doesn't even exist yet. It may only exist as a sound frequency within your own heart chakra, and you must amplify it and bring it to life with your energy, right? So this is why I always place emphasis on self. Self, 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 self. Be selfish, because you not being selfish holds you back, because you need to know how you work in order to make yourself useful in this world. For example, you can be a person who takes care of their family. You know, you go to work every day, you take care of your family, but it doesn't fulfill you on a soul level. It's paying your bills. It's keeping you alive. It's keeping food on the table, but it doesn't fulfill you. When you move in a direction of something that fulfills you holistically, that sound, remember, sound creates matter. That sound of your true will, amplified, completely transforms your life, because you are in accordance to the music of your true will. Your true will is like a song. And if you are in tune with this song and you move, that's what the wisdom is, when you move in accordance with this song. So you're not just listening to it, you're moving with it, you're dancing to it, you're grooving with it. So much so that it influences how you feel, it influences how you think, and it influences the type of things that you're into and what you want to do. When you tune into the sound frequencies of the true will. And of course, we know Is this an easy process? Absolutely not. Is it going to challenge you? Absolutely. Can it bring tears to you at times? Absolutely. So it's not supposed to be easy. Why? Because, I mean, death isn't easy. It's never easy when you lose a parent, when you lose a child, when you lose somebody close to you. But we know that this is a part of life. So that's why we put the shades on, so nobody sees the tears. We keep going, though. So you could have just broke down. What do? You just put these fucking shades on, and you keep pushing, so that people don't see into your soul. So although your soul hurts, because this is a very painful journey. After all, we are on planet Earth, the most hellish place that you can possibly be in order to ascend. It takes bravery to be here. So give yourself... Let's put the... There we go. We back. What happened? I don't fucking know. But I believe it is a Mercury retrograde. So we know it is what it is. But we back. I didn't lose my train of thought. But y'all get the point. I believe I was talking about the true will. But anyway, the point is, get in tune with the sound frequencies of your true will so that you can move in accordance with it. And you can reflect on, damn, me being in accordance with my true will has led me to places that I otherwise would have never went. Places I never would have been. Places I never would have thought about, people that I never would have met, yada, yada, yada. We know how the story goes. All this is created from sound, 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 sound. From that sound, you get vibration and frequency. Vibration is feminine, frequency is masculine. For those who may not know the difference, because I know a lot of people use those terms interchangeably, but there is a difference. Now, again, I don't want to make this too long. Because, again, we all got shit to do. We should have shit to do. So let me give everybody a shout out and we will check out. All right. So where we at? What's up, Spinosaurus? What's up, Teenager? What's up, Moon Spirit? Am I going to write a book? Absolutely. Absolutely. What's up, 305 Capricorn? Condolences to your brother, Teenager. What's up to Quan Walker? What's up, Marvin and Magi? What's up, Tech Mins? And you know, here we go with these names. What is this? I don't know. What's up, Stony Marie? But you know who you are. ILLXXIA. I see you. What's up, the Red Phoenix? You love the freestyle? Yeah, you already know. You know, I'm constantly I'll be doing all type of shit, you know. Sometimes I gotta pull out more tricks. Just to let it be known, I can do a little bit more than just run my mouth all day. Which is why I fell back a little bit. I can do other shit, so let me hit up these freestyles. You know, let me work this technology in ways that people would even be expecting, right? See, at this point, people expect me to run my mouth. But when I start doing other stuff, because I already know how to do this stuff. Because again, you know, when you in tune with your free will, you have explored all this territory. So I'm going to always be pulling out new tricks, doing things that y'all didn't even know I knew how to do, yada, yada, yada. But we all know, we all strive to be holistic. And that's all it is. So I strive to show as many different aspects of myself as possible. What's up, Iowa X? What's up, Queen of Success? What's up, back from hiatus? What's up, Chauncey? So y'all already know. Shout out to the gang. You know what I mean? Shout out to the moderators holding it down. And y'all see, it really ain't been no trolls, right? Nobody really come in here and fucking with us. You know what I mean? Because we make sure that the energy is right. You know, we make sure that we are spiritually always in combat. We are always in combat spiritually, so we don't really have to deal with too much nonsense. Remember, it's not for us to build pyramids anymore. We did that. We've been there, done that. It's for us to exercise the mental force. All The mental force is the most powerful tool that we have. And this is why so we have to use our mental force to astral travel, so discover our true will, to make anything happen. You should be foreseeing. You should foresee your before you even get out of the bed. You should start directing that energy to the path that you wanted to go in before you even get out of bed. And you should be doing the same thing before you even go into the dream world at night. So, just a little tips. Things that are life changing if taken seriously. Because sometimes we tend to overestimate the simplicity of things. But for all my complex magicians and mathematicians out there, we're in the month of December. So it's time to exercise the complexity in your mind and see where you lead, where you end up, right? Have I ever went to bed listening to the Necronomicon? Absolutely not. The only thing I go to bed listening to is ASMR. You know what I mean? I'm not really into putting myself in a strange position. But if you listening to some horror shit before you go to bed and you have a nightmare or you end up in a weird ass dream, then you already know why that is. I done did that too many times and I know. You know what I mean? Make sure that your mind is clear before you go into the dream world if you desire to have any type of control. If you want to have control over your dreams, you have to have control over what happens before you go to sleep and the type of things that are going on around you as you sleep, because all these things affect your dreams. So this is why you may want to sleep with headphones, so like the headphones that you put in your ear. You may want to sleep with a blindfold around your eyes so that you don't get any incoming light that disturbs your dreams. It's just little things. Sleep with a bowl of water under your bed or above your head if you sleep on the floor, because sometimes that's better to sleep on the floor, just for your back and whatever, and connect with the earth energy to ground yourself. Always sleep to the north. Sleep with your head facing the north. And if you don't know why, just try it and see that it works. Don't even worry about why it works, it just does. If you do these things successfully, you will see a change. For example, for those who wake up fatigued, for those who you may sleep a whole 8 hours and still feel like you're not well rested, it's because you're sleeping in the wrong direction. The earth is a magnet and you need to magnetize your body in accordance with what you are trying to do. The direction north resonates with earth energy. So when you sleep with your head facing the north, you are connecting with earth energy, which grounds you. So you may only need to sleep 30 minutes or an hour and you feel fully rested because you have grounded and rooted yourself in earth energy, which rejuvenates you, which makes sure that you fully are energized when you wake up the next day or, wake up from your nap. Again, just small, subtle, simple, little things make the biggest difference. So we are in the beginning of December. So by this time, let's just say 30 days in the future, there should be no excuse why anybody should not be in the direction that they wish and desire to be in the next 30 days. Because you have all the tools available to you to place yourself in position to make whatever you desire happen. It's all through the mental force. Get out of the thinking of society or what we should be doing or what we could be doing, what you need to be doing before 25, what you should be doing by 30, or it's time to start a family. Fuck all the bullshit. That's not for everybody. Everybody didn't come here to settle down. Some people did, but some people didn't. So we cannot define our lives by what everybody else is doing or should be doing or could be doing, right? It's simple, but it's complex because that makes you a lone wolf. That means that you will be walking in a direction and you don't see nobody else going over there. That means that you're walking into a dark cave and all of your friends are calling you an idiot. All of your family is calling you an idiot. Nobody understands but you and your true will. And that's all that matters. So even if your true will takes you to the darkest of dark or the lightest of the light, it is for your benefit, even if nobody else understands. Even if you don't understand that first, it'll make sense by the time you depart from this plane. This is why we astral travel, to prepare ourselves for death. Because when you die, the same thing that's happening when you astral travel happens when you drop the body. So astral travel is practice for death. Of course, people don't look at it like that, but that's what it is. Everything we do while we are alive is to prepare you for when you die. That's what life is. Life prepares you for death, because you will start to see people die before you. Then people will be dying after you. Everybody has to go through the veil of death, because we all came from the veil of death. So from which we came, we will return, yada, yada, yada. The only difference is, do you maintain your memory when you drop your body? And the determining factor of you maintaining your memory is you putting in this work. Because this is what resonates with you. This is what stays with you when you have nobody. The work that you have been putting in to climb up that tree of life, to activate that kundalini, to activate that soul force, so that you know how to move your soul force even if you have no body, because you have been training. All this is training for the big war, for the holy war, whatever you want to call it, right? So I'm just giving it to y'all raw and uncut, you know, without all of the necessary fluff and nonsense, which is just floating around everywhere. We don't have time for it. So this is just raw, no filler, and hopefully everyone takes heed. Because if you do take heed, you're going to get results. And if you don't take heed, then you're not going to get results, right? And I'm going to continue to punch everybody in the chest till you realize that this is necessary. So either this shit is going to become annoying until you actually start moving in that path. And when you start moving in that path, you will see the blessing that you receive. Not just from me, but from yourself. From you cultivating your own soul force. What you receive in return for the cultivation of your soul force is something that money can't buy. All right? You got people selling their souls for something that you already have. People sell their souls to gain what we already have. Imagination, memory, melanin, carbon, so on and so forth, right? People spend millions to be healthy when it's just self-discipline and self-control, right? You have to pay for your ignorance at some point. If you have no self-control, you're going to have to pay for it, right? At some point. So, might as well get it in now. So with that being said, we're going to check out. It's a lot of noise, and I'm not gonna give y'all a headache. So again, you know, life is just happening around me, and we're going to end it there. I'm not going to talk through all this noise. Stay tuned for the video on the website. Y'all take it easy. We out. 1.